What's going on, YouTube? So here we're going to take a look at the play, drive post, out of gun trips tight end. Now before we get started, I want to remind you guys that play CFM, or if you use a custom playbook, that this is a custom scheme using the formations gun trips tight end like you see here, gun trio falcon, gun trio offset, and gun trio offset weak, as well as actually pistol bunch tight end as well. We're going to get into more of those later. I'm just in the process of uploading everything else that I'm going to be using for gun trips tight end. So check the description. On PS4 I have a custom playbook with everything all set up for you guys. If you play on Xbox One, I'm sorry, but you can build your own custom scheme by using this. Now, earlier I posted a play called Pat's Y Post out of the gun trips tight end formation, and I also posted a video on low passing out of that play. Now, square on the speed in is just a fantastic route. It really is. Underneath speed in, we can low pass that. It's my money route in this formation when I need a big first down or just yardage or a big play to get in field goal range. I absolutely love it. The difference here is in Pat's Y post, X is on a post and circle is on a corner route. Now on that play, I put triangle on a flat route, which is something we can do here as well, or we can put them on a streak. So just the subtle differences between having X on a post and circle on a corner, and then switching it over to circle being on a post and X being on a corner, very, very valuable. And then R1 is a nice little sit down. As you can see, it's not the typical delay route. This guy's going to run upfield, he's going to sit down, and it can be a nice bailout route. Now, this scheme is a lot of high point passing. It's really built around the high point pass. It's going to force our opponent to really have to respect circle and X especially. They're going to be playing over the middle of the field, and they're going to have to choose or man up or make adjustments at all times to stop the high point pass. We're going to high point pass them to death, and then we're going to start mixing in some other things to really, really open up the offense and really keep our opponent on his toes. So start the video here, and as you can see, just even though he's on a post route, he's streaking up the field for a little bit, and so we are going to just hit that high point over and over and over. Now, he's using X. Obviously, we don't know if he's going to go to the inside or outside, but then, of course, we got the post in behind. Now, if this was Pat's Y post and circle was on a corner, then we'd be shut down, but we're in drive post. So he's on the post route, and now we just hit that high point pass. So again, those subtle little differences are huge. And again, with the two tight ends, or sorry, the tight end and circle just going upfield, it's really, I mean, it's so subtle. A lot of these things are so subtle, but they just make all the difference. Now, instead of putting triangle on a streak or a flat, I put them on a hitch. And this is something that I do from time to time to give us reads underneath. Because as you can see, R1 and triangle are spread out nicely. So if they're covered downfield, X and circle, then chances are we're going to have triangle or R1 underneath. Then we've got the speed in as well. Now it's 2nd and 24. So of course they're going to be playing over the top. That's why I went with these two underneath routes. You can pick up a lot of yards on these underneath routes. But I see that the speed in is traveling across the field, and we pick up a huge amount of yards. And again, he's stuck in the middle. Again, X, circle, or square are wide open. It's just a matter of taking our time and realizing which guy we have to go to, and so we take the corner route. He's sitting over the middle. He doesn't know if it's a post route. He doesn't know if it's a corner route. As I mentioned, you know, we picked up a lot of yards just on that nice little last read bailout to R1. It is really a fantastic route. Now here, I remember this game. This is actually just a lab game. That's why I'm passing while on the 22-yard line instead of taking the field goal for the win. But my opponent knows what it is that I'm doing. He knows a lot of the stuff that I like to do. And that's okay, because when you're labbing, you want that. You really want to put it to the test where if someone knows exactly what it is that you're doing, well, how well can you do? And this is a prime example of that. As you can see, we've got the tight end just screaming up the field. And I really should have made that throw. And I should have made a high point pass to that guy. Now, people always say, you know, if you don't high point pass that and you just regularly throw that, you're going to get more yards and maybe a touchdown. And I can understand that thinking. But with the high point pass, what we're actually doing is we're taking advantage of, yes, the flaws within the game. Or we're getting away from the flaws within the game. And what I mean by that is it's actually a lot more risky to throw just a regular bullet pass with a defender that far out to the right and that far out to the left. And the reason is because, as you know, defenders can zoom to the inside. They really can. You make that throw, that guy can glitch out and get a speed burst to the inside and just get an interception. When you high point pass it, that is not going to happen. So that is why people like myself high point pass a lot. It's just less riskier. So I don't actually make that read on this play. But as you can see, he's covering circle, but he knows me. He knows I love that underneath square route. So he bails, and then I've got the post route underneath. Again, had it been Pat's Y post with the corner route, I would have been screwed, but I made the right call. So we're going to flip it, and you know, flipping it is a must as we're running the scheme. I'm just going to go back here. Flipping it is a must because in the plays coming up, we're actually going to take a look at running certain things and taking advantage of cover 2, cover 3, etc. from certain hash marks. So you want to be flipping the scheme, the formations that we're using here and there. Now here we're going to put triangle on a flat route. This is something that we do out of the Pat's Y post. But then we're going to put X on a streak. Now, what these subtle adjustments are going to do is, one, our first read is going to be X on the streak. But if the zones follow X and it's zone coverage, then circle can be wide open over near the sideline. And it's just, we've got triangle as a nice little bailout last resort read, and then of course the speed in. So let's see what happens here. So he is running man coverage. So I mean, this is going to be circle or square. When it's man coverage and that's the setup that you use, those are the only two reads that you could possibly have. So they run over to the outside, and then we just hit the speed in, and again, we just pick up a lot of yards. So high point pass, just boom. Again, just make them respect that. Make them fear the high point all day long, every day. He's going to cover that. Now, this is going to be a little bit tricky, right? In Pat's Y post, we can certainly wait a second because we can hit square as he cuts across the middle, and then circle's going to take a little bit more to develop. So we just have to be careful who's he cover when we throw a high point pass. And that's the key again. I'm just going to rewind this again. I apologize. I know I'm talking a lot, but you guys definitely need to understand. So he's all over this guy. He's usering him, right? But it's one-on-one coverage. And who is that? It's Gronk. When you've got your tallest guy and he's just out there covering with a linebacker that surely is shorter. There is no linebacker really other than Leonard Floyd on the Bears. Even Anthony Barr. Yes, Anthony Barr gets great animations, but that's in Madden Ultimate Team, you know, where the card is juiced up. So we high point this. Just right at his face sometimes. You know, just right at his face, because if he goes underneath and we low pass to square and it's one-on-one coverage, he can intercept that. Chances of him intercepting a high pass when we throw it right at his face in one-on-one with no other defender in the area, we're going to win that all day long. So again, here I just smart route that. We do a quick little high point pass. We're just gonna kill them to death. We're just gonna murder these guys with the high points until they start to defend it, and that's when we're gonna start taking a look at everything else. So check out the playlist. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon.